And finally, Canny Valley Flex Amplifier. One of the worst amplifiers in the game, and the worst in Canny Valley. If you already have it, you probably know why. As usual, I will show you how to build it, where the husk will spawn, the Wargames modifiers to expect, where they will spawn, and how to handle them, everything. But don't worry, I won't spend the whole video talking about all of them, I will just focus on the main points for each direction while building it, so everyone can know what to do. It will be a separate video for each direction. We have 3 directions for this amp. North, South, and the East. The East and South directions are easy to handle. Only the North is a bit annoying. Because it has a cross spawn with another amplifier. I already made a separate video about flex amplifiers and how these Wargames modifiers make them annoying to build. Check it here, you will find a lot of useful information in this video that will help you, believe me. But what I didn't explain in that video is, the cross spawn, and how it affects your build. I will explain this point with the North direction build. And to make it simple, I will start with the East direction, the easiest one. But before we start, don't forget to use code Larsis in the item shop if you want to support me, helps me a lot. Like, subscribe if you are enjoying the content, helps the video to reach more people. And without further ado, let's get started. I will explain the modifiers and directions on this build base first, then I destroy everything and show you the build step by step as always. First thing, if you have this flex amplifier here, you don't need to build the East direction for this amp. Because the flex amplifier will block this direction's spawn. Second thing, we have 3 main Wargame modifiers that will affect this amp. The safety zones during wave 5, but they won't cause any issues with the East directions. They will spawn around the amp here, where I placed some of these tier 2 floors. We have 4 ways to the amp that the husk can follow. I will block 2 and leave 2 opened. So, the husk will have an easy way to reach these hotspots without costing us ton of block-offs like Stonewood for example. The tornado during wave 15, which still not a big deal for this direction. It will just hit few tiles of our tunnels, so, I will just build this direction normally. Only the North direction will suffer. We can build very long tunnels anyway, so, no need to worry here. And lastly, the space rocks during wave 25. The anti-air traps will handle all the small rocks. And the big meteor will hit here around the amp. The only thing will be affected is the North direction block-offs. That's why I said it's the annoying directions and the others is easy to handle. We have more modifiers in Canny Valley of course, like the hotspots and the mist pods. Again, none of them will be an issue for the East and the South direction. Guess what? Yup, only the North direction will get affected. It's like the whole base wanna ruin this direction, and it's funny at the same time. But hey, we are here today for the East direction. I will explain everything when it comes to the North direction video. Fourth thing is the terrain. The terrain in Canny Valley is a bit annoying in general. Because we have a lot of high hills. And we get a lot of random spawns above these hills. So, we need to make sure none of these random spawns can reach the amplifiers. Because we rely a lot on spawn covers for flex amplifiers. I'm sorry, but I have to say it again and I swear, it's the last time. Only the North direction will get affected a lot. Don't worry, it's not impossible, but I had to explain these points one by one, so everyone knows what we are dealing with here. Because I don't want to deal later with these weird comments on every flex video. Most of you know what I mean. If not, that's even better, don't worry about what I just said. So, what we have here? We have a lot of spawns around the area here. And we have a lot of random spawns on the top of these hills here. So, I recommended to check all the wooden bridges that you have here, just to make sure they won't help any husk to reach the amp. We have a lot of them around Canny Valley. I just destroyed all of them. But I know, some people love to keep the houses and these things that comes with the base. We have 4 main paths to the amp. I will build 2, and block 2. Now, let's build it step by step. This build is a bit complicated for me to remember in one shot. I will just build it in a different base. To be able to check the fully built build in the first base on my laptop, while building it in the second base at the same time. So, if the base looks different than this one, don't worry. It's because the base I'm building in has a different amplifier. I will start with a small spawn cover. I will just use a very small one, and will rely on the main tunnel for this direction. Because one extra roof to the spawn cover will give the husk straight way to the amp from the random spawns. That's why I won't build any spawn cover that could cause any issues if someone built it wrong. Of course you can add some here, but make sure that nothing can walk on it and reach the amp. This is one of the bridges I mentioned. As you see, the husk can reach the amp easily if there is a random spawn on top of the hills nearby. Now for the block-offs. This block-off is for the random spawns. It works for 2 amplifiers. The flex amplifier we are building and that one. We have 4 ways to the amp. I will block 2 and build the others. Block this path. Keep this one. Close this one. Of course, you can add more block-offs if you need to. And keep this one open. Now for the main tunnels. Let's start with this one. I will build it long as much as possible since we don't have a spawn cover for this one. You see how simple and easy it is? I knew that a lot of people will hate this amp even more after this long introduction at the beginning of the video, that's why I started with the east direction since it's very simple. I will try to make the other directions simple like this one as much as I can. Now let's build this one. These wall and edited floor are very important. This part will work for both directions, the east and the north. A small edit here. Now for the loop bridge. Add another connection here. Now for the traps and perks. Now let's add the traps. I will add sound wall traps at the entrance of the tunnels only. If you got any propanes issues inside your tunnels, you can add more inside the tunnels as I explained in this video. You can use 3 impact and 2 reload here, for smashers. Make sure of the direction of the drop traps. I missed some, but it's okay. Add these floors for anti-air traps. These anti-air traps are for all the 3 directions, not just the east direction. That should cover everything for this direction. I will cover the south directions next, then the north direction. And that's it for this video. Don't forget to use code Larsis in the item shop if you want to support me, helps me a lot. Big thanks for the channel members and everyone uses my creator code, really appreciate your support. Like, subscribe if you are enjoying the content, helps the video to reach more people. If you want to learn more about flex amplifiers, check the video on the screen right now. Hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, see you in the next one.